Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Lectures. They started out as letters, then now they're lectures of fallen wisdom. I am the one and only Mike Trojan. I've been doing a lot of field research in this human body, and so I have certain insights that I've picked up just because I live kind of like if I were some ET from outer space, which I probably am, but I have no proof on that. But today we're going to talk about what we should be living as. You should be living as an immortal. You should be living as somebody who is not going to die, who there is no ticking time clock. There's nothing that you have to do except breathe and help other people, be good to other people. And everything else is icing on the cake at that point, but you have to maintain that breathing base. There's this kind of breathing, I should just go into this real quick. There's a kind of breathing that is sort of like merman breathing. It might be the meaning behind the Hendrix album, A Merman I Should Be, but essentially it means you should take in a breath and hold it for as long as that breath will sustain you. Much in the same way our ancestors who were aquatic would stay underwater for a long periods of time, maybe even days. So the breathing pattern should just be take a breath and just hold it and then slowly let it out and just kind of make that be your breathing pattern. You actually find that you'll be able to slow down time with that breathing pattern if you just stay in the cusp of breathing in that manner. Also, most of the time when you have a depressed thought, you'll notice it's on the exhale. It's right when you have the least amount of oxygen in your chest, you'll have one of the most depressing thoughts of the day. And so this is just an effort to keep those thoughts from appearing in your mind by keeping the oxygen level high and keeping your absorption of every mouthful at its maximum absorption. So to do that, you got to hold the breath in for a little bit. Don't breathe out so fast. That's one way of living as immortal, but one of the main really important ways, the only real way to stay immortal, is just to stay away from a couple of things. Carbohydrates. Now, I know they're addicting, but they are a tomb. They are building a tomb for you using your body's tissue. And when you get overgrown enough in that tomb, usually through the course of a candida spread of fungus through your intestines, which carbohydrates feed, you will become a walking zombie, stretched out fat reflection of yourself. And you're just a walking tomb at that point. So you need to avoid sugar, fruit, carbohydrates. Just eat, you can eat fruits that aren't sweet. Cranberries, limes, lemons. There's a lot of non-sweet fruits. You probably get away with some raspberries. They're not too sweet. But anything that has sugar in it is going to bring you in imbalance. And each time you put yourself in an imbalance, your body has to come back from it. And it comes back from it by leaching calcium from your bones and from your teeth. The more sugar you eat, the more your bones will degrade. Just think about it like that, okay? It's like sandpaper on the bones. So if you want to have, and your bones, once after a long period of sugar, your bones will, if you stop eating, the sugar will repair themselves eventually. So nothing's permanent here. But if it's just a feature of the organism that they're going to be taking in this substance, then the organism is not going to be able to keep up with the damage being done. And that's what you're seeing in the form of aging here. It's mainly due to the consumption of carbohydrates, mainly the real sugary kind. But even the non-sugary kind it still converts very quickly into sugar. You need that slow-burning food which is either just green vegetables. Tomatoes are okay, but mostly what you would put in a salad. But and go light on the carrots, because carrots also have a lot of sugar. But if you can maintain this discipline, you'll never have to think about getting in shape or anything like that. You'll be a perfect specimen. You notice that like nobody's really doing too well in the body, and like everybody eventually, like as they get older, gets kind of fat. It's all because of the carbohydrate load. Your body just stops being able to get rid of it. Your body stops being able to eliminate it from your body, and starts to store it. And then on top of it, people take these stimulants like coffee, nicotine. Some take more illicit versions like cocaine and crack and meth. And these things are, they give you a tremendous feeling of exhilaration and sometimes inspiration, but you're wearing out your fan belt. Yeah, you can think about there's like a little fan belt inside you, and it gets way stretched out when you put those kind of things in your body. And what's interesting about how these things work is that they work by pouring sugar in the virtue of your body produces a kind of sugar in its glands, and they pour that into your blood, and that gives you the effect of the stimulant. So the stimulant is essentially putting you in a fight or flight state, putting you in a state of stress. Your body gets the signal that it needs energy because stress is coming. There's a tiger around the corner, but really not. You just took a pill, or you just drank a coffee, or you just smoked some cigarettes or whatever. You vape some nicotine liquid. All this stuff just sends signals to your brain that you're in trouble. And when you're in trouble, your body creates its own sugar to give you the energy to escape that trouble. Another thing the body does is it slows down your metabolism to save whatever energy that you've already taken in. So people who get on speed to try to lose weight, eventually they start gaining a lot of weight because their metabolism slows down to a crawl. And if you're taking in a lot of stimulant, you're basically shutting down your metabolism. And you're going to get fat a lot easier with a lot less food, because your body's just going to go to 100% store mode. You're not even going to be able to take it. You're going to be constipated all the time because your intestines aren't going to work, because your intestines are responding to a stressful environment. So people who are smoking these vapes, these nicotine metal dicks in their mouths, they're essentially just hyping themselves up on nicotine and putting their body under tremendous amount of stress the whole day just to get that little bit of a bounce you get from taking a hit. And usually it's not even that good, but every once in a while you get a really good hit off something and you just want to get back to it, but you never really get that hit. So it's something you got to cut out of your life. Now, it's very difficult. It's very addicting too. You're going to go through a period of depression once you quit. If it's meth or if it's coke, you're going to go through an extreme withdrawal. But remember, you're here to live infinitely, so you don't need to speed anything up, okay? And you don't have to worry about all the shit that other people worry about either. You just have to worry about the longevity, because you're here for the long haul. You're not here to fucking just crap over and die while you're trying to chase your dreams inside some kind of artificial year window. You're trying to find out all you can find and come out, evolve, get stronger, understand how to live longer. And this is what Letters of Fallen Wisdom are all about. They're letters for your immortality. So if you're drinking coffee, if you're vaping some nicotine juice, or if you're smoking cigarettes, you're doing coke, you're doing meth, you're doing ecstasy, you're doing Molly, you're doing MDMA, even if you're doing ayahuasca, yes. These are all stimulants. And yes, they give you the visions. Acid, LSD, mushrooms, they all are going to give you the visions and some inspiration, but they also give you a tremendous amount of fear. And that fear turns your body into a food piggy bank. And you just, stick to marijuana, although do not act on the munchies, When it comes to marijuana, you want to be very careful about when you eat. You cannot eat while you're high on marijuana. You will eat too much, and you will eat the wrong thing. So you have to space it out, You shouldn't eat less than 6 hours after you get high, really. But I'll do a whole show on how to smoke weed and stuff like that. But that's the only drug you can really do, and I don't even recommend that drug. I think you'd be better sober because, remember, you're living to be immortal. Why do you have to enhance anything? Aren't you happy that you're alive? And I don't know if I've explained how there's no way for you to die. Even if you're like, well, I don't want to be immortal. Guess what, buddy? You are. And you're going to keep on keeping on some parallel universe. And do you want it to be as a wretched, saggy skin, fat cripple? Or do you want to be pretty young? And let's say you are crippled right now. Or let's say that you are old right now. You can backwards age. Just cut out the fucking carbs. Let nature do its course. Cut out the fucking carbs. Cut out alcohol. Cut out fucking speed, any kind of stimulant. Yes, even chocolate. Okay? Go get yourself some carob. Believe me, this is the key, okay? Those things have magical properties. All those magical properties will redound to you once you stop using them as a crutch. And I think that pretty much the same is true for marijuana, too. You don't need these drugs. You need to be calm and living immortal, which means like a sequoia tree. And you don't see a sequoia tree smoking on no fatty. Thanks for listening.